G'day Foxtel fans, it's Dan Ewing, aka Heath Braxton here from Home and Away. I'm here on Facebook Live. I'm ready to answer some of your questions. Now don't forget, Home and Away Revenge streams tonight on Foxtel Play at 8:30, so make sure you get involved. It's going to be brilliant. But first, question time. I'm not a politician, but you get what I mean. Let's go.
You hung up the Braxton boots back in 2013. What was it that drew you back to playing Heath again?
Braxton boots, I'd say they were the Braxton tats more so. I think the first special we did, Home and Away and Eye for an Eye, that drew me right back in. I really love doing the feature film sort of format now, and it just really struck me as something different. It wasn't just sort of 3 episodes strung together. It was a whole new thing. Not very heavily on the dialogue, lots of action, so I was more than happy to come back.
So we've had a question here coming from Alan Foxwell, just asking, will the River Boys be back for all 3 of these specials?
Will the River Boys be back? I mean, as I call them, the River Muppets. Getting us all in one spot is pretty hard these days, just logistically as the actors. But you never know who might turn up. I mean, I think my cousin has dated many women saying that he's Jimmy Braxton. It's a true story. Rob Ewing, I'm sorry, mate. But would I love to see that happen? For sure. But is it likely? Probably not.
What's been the most challenging thing about playing Heath?
The most challenging thing about playing Heath, that's a very, very good question. But it's also the best thing, I think, to keep it fresh and keep the story arc enjoyable, but also challenging myself. I've been very lucky with the storylines and the responsibility I've been given. So there's a very tough storyline in particular with SIDS that Lisa and I had to go through when our infant son passed away. And that is something, SIDS, that touches so many Australian families. You really have to do it justice and do the right thing by all the families that are touched by that. So, we have to put in a lot of work, and we've got to work with Australian families who've been through that, and we were so grateful for their cooperation. So I think, just keeping it fresh, and the things that challenge you the most are often the things that make you the better performer.
The second part of the H&A specials is called Revenge. Does this mean that we can expect the return of a certain Trevor Gunson?
I think for everyone playing at home, the actor who plays Trevor Gunson, Diarmid, he's got a very, very distinct voice and build. So I think personally, I mean, I can't give too much away, but if he was to return, I think the audience would absolutely love it, and so would I.
Any looking behind the sets, has there been any kind of funny secrets you can share about anyone from the show?
Oh my goodness, that's a tough one. You mean apart from the flatulence and all that sort of stuff that happens? No. I think just overall, like I don't want to share too many secrets of the pranks that we pull on each other. But I think overall, it's just such a family, and we laugh so much. We have an absolute blast, and that's why they're able to get the content they do. One particular prank that I will mention, Steve Peacock, who plays Brax, his character went to jail. So we had the script department do up a bit of a monologue about his time with one of the inmates in this particular jail. And we told Stephen it was like an amended scene, and they actually filmed him rehearsing the lines. And needless to say, the big fella, the country boy, he struggled to say some of the dialogue that the script department put down, but he saw it through. But I think the crew cracked up well and truly before the end. It was a good story. I wish I could actually share it with you all, but there's some things that should be left unsaid.
There was a question from Daniel Garnier talking about what you do to kick back during hair and makeup in preparation. It must take a fair while to get all those fake tats done. So what do you do?
Fake tats, they're fantastic. Look, I think one of the more challenging aspects of playing Heath Braxton is the tattoo makeup. I'm in there before the girls get their spray tans. Not that they get spray tans; it's all natural. But you know what? We have a great laugh. The hair and makeup team are so amazing on Home and Away. And some of the strategies and some of the ways they put together the tattoos, they have other heads of makeup coming in and sort of seeing how they do it and then implementing that into their shows. But we have a great laugh. It is very early. And if you've noticed, Heath on air at the moment he has a few less tats. So thank you to Darcy Darcy Braxton, aka Heath's daughter, she went to high school, so therefore Heath had to have the grenade removed. Also, Dan wanted the grenade removed. So, thank you, Charles.
We got Taylor Johnson wants to know who's your favourite character out of all the Home and Away stars.
Great question. Is it Taylor? Am I getting that right? Taylor? I've got to say Alf Stewart. I think when I first started, Ray Ma, who plays Alf Stewart, he came up to me and he said, "The only advice I can give you is prepare the bloody hell out of it, and everything else falls into line." So I think what he means is your chance favors the prepared mind. You can create as an actor, you can be organic and raw, but if you're not prepared and you don't do your homework and learn your lines, it's a much harder task. So thank you so much, Ray, for that advice. It's stayed with me forever.
Who do you like raging out with Offset and why?
Was it raging out?
Raging out.
Raging out. Oh, I love that. It's a raging. I'm pretty boring actually. Offset, but Nick Westaway and I get on really well. He's an absolute legend. Just a real gentleman. He's from Margaret River. So we have a good old time. But like as I said, it's a big family on Home and Away. So yeah, I've hung out with a lot of different people, and it's really good fun.
Are there any practical jokers amongst those people?
No practical jokers at all. I think you don't want to fall asleep, put it that way, on the Home and Away set. They can't really draw on your face, but they can certainly put certain things on you or do certain things to you that shall stay invisible. Jake Spears, a great young actor, he would fall asleep all the time. So I think it was a big part of the crew photos. There's photos up on every wall of Jake falling asleep in different places, and people would come down from the office. The sales team would come down just to get photos with him.
Going back to the tats thing, seems to be quite a popular question coming through. Steve Conway wants to know, are any of the on-screen tats real?
Stevie Conway, yes, I actually have a couple of tats myself. I actually have a Southern Cross on my forearm. I did a lot of traveling when I first started acting, so I know there's a few unsavory types that seem to have got the Southern Cross thing happening of late, but I got it because I'm a big homebody, big family man. So I had 5 members of my immediate family when I first left home, so it was a reminder of home. And then there's all this riots and stuff and people using it for the wrong things. So for me, a big softie. So five members of my immediate family, 5 stars. Southern Cross.
It's Christmas time around the corner. What do you think Heath would like for Christmas? And do you have anything on your list yourself?
What would Heath like for Christmas? Bianca in a nice little Christmas outfit. Maybe just to not have drama for a few weeks. I think maybe he'd like to kick his feet up with his brothers and have a few quiet soda waters on the beach. Myself, what would I like for Christmas? I'm actually I'm just sort of getting into the technical aspect of filmmaking. I've always loved the directing side, the producing side. So now I'm sort of transitioning into camera nerd. So I'm going to upgrade my sort of personal setup, personal camera. So I think Paxton's or JB Hi-Fi vouchers, if anyone's listening. Thanks.
What do you like doing when the camera's not rolling? You're a big basketball fan. Do you kind of like to shoot some hoops yourself?
For sure. So I was very lucky when I was younger, fitter, and just fitter. I used to play for Manly Warringah. So I've got a lot of mates in our national league, the NBL. So I like to get up and down the floor, a good sweat. I can't do treadmills. I'm just not built for it. So basketball is a big one. But then just catching up with friends and family. I'm from the Northern Beaches originally, and there's no better place to catch up with friends and family than the Northern Beaches of Sydney.
Also, there's been a few comments about what movies have you been in. I know that you've been in an Australian action horror movie just recently. It's available, called Red Billabong. It's hard to imagine anything actually shaking you, though. Is there actually anything that you fear in life?
What do I fear? No, I don't. The funny thing about me is I don't actually have any fears that I know about yet. No heights or snakes or anything like that. So rest assured, when it happens, it's probably going to be public. I'm sure when it happens, there'll be some sort of camera rolling or something along those lines. But yeah, no actual fears. But Red Billabong, it's a good one. I think that just came out on Blu-ray and DVD. The PR department might get me in trouble for saying that if I'm incorrect, but check it out. It's a good one.
So on that note, there's been a lot of questions coming in about your future as an actor. Have you got any sights on going to Hollywood at all?
I think just me personally. I mean, not to get political. I'm not a huge fan of what's happening in the States at the moment, just with who's going to be running the country and all that sort of stuff. I love being in the States for basketball, but I've got a 2-year-old boy, and I just think we live in the best country in the world here in Australia. We've got great teachers, a great education system, medical. It's great, and obviously all our friends and family here. So I dare say we'll make the move eventually, but the world's a very small place. A lot of actors can just audition with a blank wall, a camera, and a Vimeo account, so you don't really need to be there. By the way, so for those of you who have just tuned in, my name is Dan Ewing, or Daniel Ewing if I've been naughty. I'm from Home and Away. I play Heath Braxton, and we're answering your questions here on Facebook Live. So welcome, and don't forget, Home and Away Revenge is streaming tonight on Foxtel Play from 8:30. It's a good one. You'll love it. More questions? I think so.
All three of the Home and Away specials have taken places in iconic Australian landmarks. You know, the first one was set in the Blue Mountains. We have the Northern Territory in Revenge, and another venue, Maitland Jail, and the finale. What's been your greatest taking from actually filming in these places around Australia?
That's a great question. The Blue Mountains for me, the eerie silence and the beauty of the land. It was just incredible. The Northern Territory was actually kind of funny because you get told as a kid that, you know, this is all a giant ocean, you know, millions of years ago. When Lisa and I are actually up in the helicopter and you look down, it's just sort of fairly dry, dusty land. But it looks, if you close your eyes after looking down, it actually does look like the bottom of an ocean. The rocks, it's incredible. It really was the bottom of an ocean. When you get up and see it from that angle, it was very humbling. And then on the complete reverse, being inside Maitland Jail and Parramatta Jail, where we shot All or Nothing, just completely claustrophobic, eerie. For those of you who are into sort of the ghost hunting and the negative energy sort of things, it is eerie as heck. I mean, it was there's some certain rooms, certain cells that you go into that you just have you feel like a heavy heart or a pressure, or it affected some people quite badly actually. So it was extremely interesting to shoot there, but I'm quite happy I'm not an inmate there.
Got Donna Lakiana, who's posted saying, "Merry Christmas, Dan, to you and your family. So glad you came back to Home and Away. I think you're awesome. My boys are mad on basketball."
Donna, how do you pronounce that?
It was Donna Lakiana.
Lakiana. Hi, Donna. Thank you so much for that. Sincerely, all the very best for holidays to you and your family, and thank you so much for the support. If you get a chance to ask another question, you can ask your kids who their favorite character is. There you go.
Jack Ellum has also asked the question, do you actually surf? Please answer.
No. I think a lot of the people who are supposed to surf on the show, they can carry a board very sexy. I could bodyboard a little bit. I mean, I could stand up a bit, but I would never call myself a surfer. It's certainly one of those things on my bucket list. But I think for me, just the way I attack like sports and all that sort of stuff, I would have to do it every day for a month until I could do it and do it well. I couldn't go on a weekend and sort of forget or whatever. I'd be too frustrated with it. So I think I need to sort of take a couple of months off and just learn it inside out. And go, I can surf. Magic.
Probably a couple of shout outs. You're getting a lot of Christmas messages coming through. Clarice Baccarat saying Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Clarice. Thank you so much.
And we've also got a Kelsey Bat saying Merry Christmas. You're a good actor.
Was it Kelsey Bat?
Yes.
Kelsey Bat, thank you so much for the Christmas wishes. All the best to you and your family.
And we have a Shantara Webb. Who is your favourite kid to work with, Darcy or Harley?
Shantara Webb, that's Spider-Man. The secret's out. I could never pick between my two on-screen kids. If I had to, it would be a bit difficult actually, because Aaliyah O'Shea plays Darcy, and she's just the one actress. Harley has been played. There's all sorts of laws with filming with young babies, so I think there's been about 10 Harleys. So that would be tough. But Aaliyah O'Shea is certainly my favourite female actress that I've worked with playing my daughter.
I have Stephen Okbay saying, why did you decide to take up acting as a career, and who's your favourite basketball team and player? Who's your favourite rapper and favourite song?
Stephen, Getting your money's worth, mate. Why did I decide to take up acting? I always loved it when I was in high school. Always did drama. I never thought of it as a career. I was actually playing basketball, funnily enough, in the US and Canada when I was 18. Came back, and my cousin had just done I think it was a chip commercial, a Lay's commercial. I found out how much he got paid for it, and I was very interested in doing a chip commercial and maybe getting paid in chips. That would be fine. So I joined an extras agency and sort of steamrolled from there. Did some extra work, got a few commercials, did a guest role on Home and Away, and then all of a sudden it was my job. It's a good question. My favorite rapper. This also ties into basketball. I've always loved the group Public Enemy. I'm not a huge fan of people that talk about bling and diamonds and all sort of stuff. There's a great amount of political undertones with their music, and actually ties into. They did the soundtrack to one of my favorite movies called He Got Game, starring Denzel Washington. Did I answer? Is there anything else?
Favorite basketball player?
Favorite basketball player? I've got to go with Patty Mills. He's a good friend of mine. He plays for the San Antonio Spurs, who are also my team. But there's a lot of good Aussies over there in the NBA doing great things. But make sure you tune in into our National League, NBL on Fox Sports 3, mate. Oh, yes, of course. Hi, Foxtel fans. For those of you guys who have just tuned in, my name is Dan Ewing. We're here on Facebook Live. We're talking all things Home and Away, so please shoot your questions through. And don't forget, Home and Away Revenge is available tonight. It streams on Foxtel Play from 8:30. But back to the questions.
Laura Jackman wants to know, what's your favourite thing about Summer Bay?
My favourite thing about Summer Bay is Summer Bay. Obviously, it's a fictional place, but in real life, it's Palm Beach on Sydney's northern beaches. It's an incredible place to sort of work. It does get a bit chilly in winter, I'm not going to lie, in those boardies. But they call it God's country for a reason. So, the best thing about Summer Bay, Summer Bay.
Jessica Ann Flood wants to know, what's your favourite storyline you did on Home and Away, and why?
My favourite storyline on Home and Away, that's a great question. I've been very blessed, actually, when I think back to all the storylines I've been given. But I think I've got to go with Heath's Bucks night in Melbourne. That was just a treat. They sort of bought out this, rented out, this nightclub in Toorak in Melbourne. And it was just a blast. You know, it really was like being on school camp. And it was fantastic. We had a couple of nights. We got to go out for dinners and hang out. And it was just an absolute blast. It was such a good time. It was like being on school camp.
Lucky Braxton Tapao Sakeni, I'm hoping I'm pronouncing your name right.
I think they made that name.
Merry Christmas, Dan. I'm Home and Away's biggest fan. Love all the episodes, although New Zealand is so behind. I catch up on my shows through Daily Motion, and I'm excited for Home and Away Revenge finale. Welcome back to Summer Bay, with lots of exclamation marks.
Wow, thank you so much. I dare say there's a Braxton name in there that you may have put into your username, but if your name is Braxton, then fantastic. Thank you so much. A big shout out for anyone who's tuning in from New Zealand. I worked there for a year. I absolutely love it. There's a lot of Kiwi actors who work on the show, and they're just the most lovely people. And if you guys could stop beating us in the rugby, that would be great.
Just having a quick look here. Ryan Stevenson, have you enjoyed working on Home and Away Revenge? The trailers grip me to watch this event.
Ryan, thanks so much for the feedback, mate. Look, if you thought the trailer was good, just wait till you tune in, mate. It's absolutely amazing. It won't feel like Home and Away. So for anyone who does tune in to the special tonight on Foxtel Play at 8:30, it's simple. You don't need to be a Home and Away fan to really enjoy it. They're standalone pieces. It's going to feel more like an action movie as opposed to just a couple of episodes of Home and Away. But Ryan, special shout out to you, mate. Hope you enjoy it.
We have another one from Melissa Marinus. What are we in for in 2017? Big shout out, please.
Melissa Marinus, is it my pronunciation? Melissa, thank you so much, and make sure you have a great Christmas. In 2017, for Home and Away specifically, I'm not too sure, but the second part of the sequel, someone could go mad with this. It becomes available. In January. So it's Home and Away All or Nothing, and I'm sure you're going to love that.
Melissa Quinn wants to know if you could please give a shout out to Robin and Beck. They love watching Home and Away. It would make their day. Thank you.
Melissa, and to Robin and to Beck, very special shout out to you guys. Have a great Christmas.
Samantha Boyd Foxy. Hi Dan, are you BJ the actor's real brothers in life, and love seeing you on the show. Merry Christmas to you and your family.
Oh, Merry Christmas to you. So Matt Little is actually, unfortunately, I'm separated from my wife now, but she's his brother. So we're still technically related. He's a great uncle to my little boy Archie. But no, we're not brothers. We have the same nose though. They're quite large, big bumpy Roman things. Always gets in the way of other characters, but still related. Yes.
Michael Reedy Reed, Merry Christmas, Dan. Who do you go for in the AFL, and who's your favourite player?
Michael Reedy Reed. This is a good one actually. So my ex-wife, all of her family, they're like big Melbourners. Like they're mad for AFL. So I was the Sydney bandwagon boy. I think it was the year they made the grand final and actually beat Hawthorn, which hasn't happened in a while. I jumped on that bandwagon just because I'm a Sydney boy. But yeah, so if I had to pick, it'd be Sydney Swans. Do I know anything about AFL? No, not really. I really respect their athleticism. A lot of my mates who play basketball, all the guys from Victoria, the Tassie boys, even the WA guys, it's a great physique, great body type. They're big, they're strong, but they're athletic as well. They're not just sort of big lumps of muscle. So it's a great game.
There's been a lot of questions coming in about any tips on how to become an actor, or people that are aspiring to become an actor.
Great question. The one thing I can say is there's no set formula. So I said earlier in the Facebook Live questions that I kind of fell into it backwards. I did a bunch of ads and commercials first and a guest role before I went back and studied at NIDA. Some people go straight out of high school. It's a beautiful thing about people and about relationships. Everyone's different. Everyone has their own journey. Is there some formulas that people that drama coaches or even studio execs might prefer? Yeah, sometimes, but there's plenty of great actors out there who've never been in drama school at all. So I've done a few bits and pieces. I've done different courses for different things because I wanted to keep working. A lot of the time, if you do these 3-year courses, they don't like you auditioning. I wanted to keep auditioning. I wanted to keep learning on the job, which I really felt helped me, and I really responded to. So at the end of the day, if I had to give you some advice, get into a course, even if it's a short course or a summer program, see how you like it. You don't have to commit to a 3-year program. But at the end of the day, don't do it because you're famous. Famous is the wrong way, or is the wrong thing to. If you want to do it to be famous, go and do the Housewives.
Amy Jean says, "Hello from Adelaide. You're my favourite character. Merry Christmas. Can you do an Alf Stewart impression?"
Braxton, get out of here, you flaming mongrel. There you go. I'm probably going to get some sort of hate mail, from Ray. I'm going to get a text.
There was a couple of questions earlier on, just asking whether you had a favourite Braxton brother at all. If you could pick one, who's your favourite?
I could never pick between those guys. They're all legends. Steve Peacock, Lincoln Eunice, and Nick Westaway. They're absolutely hilarious. They're all such lovely guys, and for all sorts of different ways. I couldn't hope to pick between them. Very lucky to have those guys playing my brothers for so many years.
In your time away from home and away, what was the thing you missed most about playing Heath?
The thing I missed most about playing Heath was I think his silly humour. The writing department were so great with my storylines. They let me create a lot, so I got to throw in a lot of sort of stupidity and ad-libbing, and I think it's sort of that Aussie larrikinism that really let me sort of inject. From a filming standpoint, I just miss the crew. Like I've never laughed so much in my life. So when we go back there and everyone's they're on the 13th hour of a 10-hour day kind of thing. They're busting their butts. They're incredible, and that sort of workload doesn't get done unless everyone's a team, everyone's a family. So I certainly miss the cast and the crew and the production team.
Belinda Benello wants to know, what's your favourite show besides Home and Away, of course?
Linda, that is really good. I'm a bit crazy. I'm a bit all over the shop, so it depends what I'm getting into. I've just been watching Vikings quite a lot. There's an Aussie guy, Travis Fimmel, who I've had the pleasure of spending a bit of time with on the Supernova sort of circuit when I was promoting Red Billabong. And just such an Aussie dude, so straight up. So I always like, especially if I get to meet another actor, I like sort of having a look and sort of checking in. Closer to home, Wentworth. I absolutely love Wentworth. I'm such a fan of that show. I think the actors on it are just profound, so powerful, and it's written brilliantly. So Wentworth is my favourite Aussie show at the moment.
Sarah Mercer says, "Can you get a shout out from Kinglake, Melbourne?"
Sarah, shout out to Kinglake, Melbourne. I've never been to Kinglake. Does anyone know in the crew? No one knows. I'm gonna have to Google that one after.
Clarice Beckerer says, "How was it working with Lincoln Younes?"
Lincoln Eunice, Clarice, thank you for another question. I think it's great. Lincoln is so lovely, so talented, and such a giving actor. I think when he started, we called him the puppy dog because he's this sort of 6'3", just so much energy, such a lovely kid, and so down to earth, and just amazingly talented as well. Big fan of his.
Kelly Marie Clark says, "Hi Dan, Merry Christmas. Shout out. What's Lynn McGregor like to work with?"
Lynn McGranger is absolutely bonkers. So I said the Sydney Swans thing before. She is mad. She's a mad Swan supporter, but just the most giving, loving actor you'll get on set. She's absolutely hilarious. She's probably closest to her character out of everyone else. Guys, I think we're almost out of time. I think I'm getting yelled at because I always talk too much. Just a big thank you from Dan Ewing to you guys, just for all your support, all the great questions. So don't forget, Home and Away Revenge, 8:30 tonight. It streams on Foxtel Play. You're absolutely going to love it. Thank you guys so much again for all your great questions, and thank you for the support of myself and the show. All the very best. See you next time.